In this video, I'm going to show you how to do rotation. But before I do that, what is rotation? Rotation in simpler term or word is turn or spin. So whenever you hear the word rotate or rotation, you should be thinking, okay, the image is going to turn or image is going to spin around. But there are three pieces of information that are very important for you to know if you want to do the rotation correctly. And these are, one, to where, and that's direction. Is the shape going to turn to the right or turn to the left? Or here we use the word clockwise to turn right and counterclockwise to turn left. Second is how much. And for rotation, it's not just distance, we're talking about angles. Because you're turning things around, we can communicate that by saying 30 degrees or 40 degrees or 60 degrees or 200 degrees. In terms of angles, we can say how much to turn. And third thing is about where. And this is very important. This is the center of rotation. And we'll see that in an example. Okay. Let's look at an example. I have a triangle here, and we're going to rotate this triangle clockwise 90 degree about origin. Okay. Here we have our three pieces of information. We're turning things clockwise. This tells me to where, right? And 90 degree, this tells me how much. And about origin, this tells me the center of rotation. Now, before I actually show you how to do that, let me talk about the center of rotation real quick. In this example, we're gonna turn about origin. We're gonna rotate about origin. But let me show you what that center rotation does. I'm going to turn this paper. If our center of rotation is point B, I'm gonna put my pen right there. If I spin it, the triangle is going to spin in its place. Or more closely, if I put my pen inside a triangle, it's just gonna spin around, right? Very small. But what if my center of origin is all the way out here? If I put my pen here, now if I turn it, my triangle is going to turn much bigger, right? And if I put my pen already at the bottom right corner of my paper, you cannot see it, but if I spin it, now we're turning again very differently. So turning like this is very different from turning in place, right? This is why the center of rotation is very, very important, okay? Because your rotation looks very different depending on where the center is. So let's actually try to rotate this triangle clockwise 90 degree about origin. Now we already know that clockwise means to the right, right? So we're gonna turn to the right. So if I'm turning the triangle to the right, it's not going to go to the left, it's actually gonna go this way, right? So let me draw an arrow. It's gonna go that way. We're gonna turn about the origin, and where is the origin? Where everything is 0 on my graph. That's the origin. And we're only going to turn 90 degree. So how do we know we turned 90 degree or we rotated 90 degree without any petty paper, the tracing paper, right? How do you know that? Or using without the protractor, right? This is a little bit complicated, so pay attention. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 vertices of my shape. I'm going to start with the C, and I'm going to draw a line from C through the center of rotation. Here is the origin. I'm going to extend it, and I'm going to draw a perpendicular line to this line, so that will be like this, right? Perpendicular line. And I know this is 90 degree now because I drew a perpendicular line. If I show you in correct orientation, that is 90 degree, right? So that's my guide to know how much to turn. If I turn my point C 90 degree clockwise about the center, then the point C will end up right here after 90 degree turn. And this is my C prime. Let's do the same, but this time I'm going to use the blue pen. I'm going to do the same from point A. I'm going to draw a guideline through the center. I'm going to extend it right there. And if I draw a perpendicular line, that would look right here. Perpendicular line. Wait, that is not perpendicular. Sorry, I have to go actually here. Right here. That's gonna be my perpendicular, sorry. So now we have this perpendicular line, and if I show you right here, ignore this. I have a perpendicular line right there, right? And so the point A, once I rotate it 90 degree clockwise, it's gonna end up right at this point. Okay. And the last one, B, I'm gonna use a black pen. I do the same thing, extend the line all the way across, and my perpendicular line is going to end up over here, right there, my perpendicular line. So my point B will end up right here. Okay, and if I connect these 3 points, I have my A prime, B prime, and C prime, right? So I have my image of the triangle right here. Okay, and that is how you can do rotation. Now, one thing I want to mention is, how do we know how to draw the perpendicular line, right? So if I use different paper, right here, different graphing paper, let me draw clean again. I think it was 1, 1, 2, 4, and 4, 4. 1, 1, 2, 4, and 4, 4. That was the triangle that we just used, ABC. How do I know that? I mean, I can definitely draw a line through the origin from A, right? Through the origin, and it's gonna end up same, just extend it using a ruler, right? So I can draw that, but without the protractor, how do I know which way is the perpendicular line? And here's a trick. This is 2, right? I can see that's 2, and then y is 4. So perpendicular line will be at 4, -4, and 2. Extend right here. And if I connect it, the same thing at 2, -2, and 4, right here. If I extend it, that is going to be perpendicular line. Okay, so you can use the number to guide you, and A ends up over here after 90 degree turn. If there was 180 degree clockwise turn, it would be ending up over here. Okay, this needs practice, and I know this is a little bit confusing, but hopefully this video helps you understand a little bit better.